Hey, Tony Gassins here. I just posted in the Blessed Tribe on the community page and on the Patreon asking about the picture that I seen, and it had Kanye West's daughter. It appears she's sitting in the lap of her mom's boyfriend. And I just want to help y'all ladies understand something. And it's something that men all know, because men know men. One thing about the area of a man's body is a man really doesn't have control, especially a young man, doesn't have control of that area. So if the wind blow too hard, that area will stand up if the wind blow hard. If it's a certain temperature, that area, that body part, it'll stand up. So if a man is not connected to the being that he is with, like physically connected to that being, to where it's like a love, to where there's no blurred lines, then that's the only way a man will have control. And even then, some men still don't have control. And when that part of the body responds, it sends a signal to the brain that says, we need a release. It's ready, it's time to reproduce. And a lot of women don't understand that. Doctors and scientists might not even understand that. But that is why you see, and I learned from the work that I do, because I've had clients who their biological father, who raised them in the home, when under the influence, went all the way with them. Biological father. And not in an area, a town of incest. In normal cities where incest is not a thing, it's not promoted, it's not condoned, it's not allowed, reinforced. And so that taught me a lot about the different state of mind, the different mental makeup of men. I've had clients who their pastor, and these were when they were young, under the age of 10, grown men doing things to them. I have family members who were under the age of 10, under the age of 12, that grown men done things to them. And a man has to be rooted and grounded in God. A man's spirit has to be consecrated. A man has to be locked in and focused, because the nature of man is not a nature that can be played out on film. It's too real and too raw to believe. If women really understood the perplexity of the nature of man, it would be a totally different world. And many women have experienced it, but that's why the Me Too movement exists, because the women knew if they told, they would not be believed. So I have had clients who told their mother what her boyfriend did to them, and their own mother did not believe them. Their own mother cursed them out. So men have had the advantage of hiding in plain sight, because there is a part of a man that is a beast, that is bestiality. And I wrote about that, and that's why I'm publishing my next book independently. Right now, only those in the Blessed Tribe and Patreon have access to my next book. But the reason why I'm doing it independently, because I put that statement in my proposal. And the publisher, one of the men at the publishing house, said he can't relate and he don't understand what I meant by some men have a beast in them. And I know why he said that. Because men, we want to hide in plain sight. We want to be a beast and not be recognized. We want to be a wolf in sheep's clothing. And that right there disgusted me, to see that young lady on the lap of a man who is reckless, who is unhinged, who is humiliating her father, even though her father humiliated him. For him to be an example in these young ladies' lives, knowing that her father is on a whole nother stratosphere of celebrity and dealing with spiritual warfare and demons, a level of attack that this guy will never fully understand, because he will never be that iconic. And so for him to stoop to that level and to go at him, and he trying to come in and be an example to the man's daughters, for him to humiliate the father in return, it let me know that he's not mature enough to be a stepfather to mega celebrity children. And then for the mama to allow her daughter to be alone with this man, who I don't know if it's been said allegedly that he done had drug issues or rehab issues or mental health issues. Whenever somebody go through stuff like that, and we all go through a certain bit of it in our own way, that's a daily struggle. It's never something that you completely, totally heal. A former addict will tell you that every day they got to wake up and choose sobriety. It ain't just a given. And so when a man will take and engage with your ex in a toxic manner, even if it's retaliation, it speaks to him being immature, just like your ex. That man is never safe to be left with your baby girl. Because, and I had this happen in my family, the same thing happened. And I'm going to tell you what happened. Had a family member who was desperate for love, desperate to be with a man, just like this young lady, just like this grown woman. And the man came in and tried to be savior. And the man had her daughter sitting on his lap, riding on his shoulders at the beach with a bathing suit on. And the next thing you know, a few years later, it came out. The man had been touching her in her private areas. The man had made a move. And the young lady, the little girl, never said anything. Never held it in for years, and it slipped up and came out on accident. And y'all almost lost me. Because I almost went to prison for murder. I tell you no lie. I almost went to prison for murder. But knowing that I didn't want to do it, but feeling like I had to do it to protect an innocent child, I talked myself out of it by talking to my wife and talking to my son. And I was preparing my son for him to have me in prison doing a life sentence. And I did that intentionally, because when you really want to do something, you don't talk to nobody about it. You just go do it. I knew I didn't want to do it, but I was so close, and I was warring in my spirit. And I talked to some of my some of my guys, and they said, man, listen, you ain't got to get your hands dirty. Just say go. Just say go, and it's handled. And I said, you know what? I can't even put y'all in jeopardy because y'all got daughters. Y'all got sons. I can't even put y'all in jeopardy. And that's why a part of every man we understand Will Smith slapping Chris. Even though, yeah, it can be said it's overboard, we understand it, a part of it. Can't excuse it. Yeah, in that setting, that's different, and it's a grown woman. But now when it comes to the children, and it comes to a man violating, and see that right there, when I seen that, because the man that I know that did that, he don't do drugs. Never had a drug addiction. Never been in a mental asylum. And still was capable of doing that. So when I hear about a man and I can see drug use in a man's eyes, when I can see it in his teeth, when I can see it in his face, when I can see drug usage, when I can see an addiction battle, when I can see spiritual warfare on a man, and then I see a young lady sitting in that grown man's lap, all kind of alarms and red flags go off. And I'm here to tell y'all, ladies, stop being so desperate for a man to rescue you and to be a superman that you let any old man, that you let your boyfriend, your fiance come around your child. And it don't matter if it's a boy or a girl, because some men mess with little boys as well as little girls. And you have to be careful about that. You got to be careful about that. Your child ain't never safe. Your child ain't never secure. You always got to be watchful. You always got to be mindful. You can't trust human beings. You can't trust human beings. You always have to have a level of precaution. And you don't have to tell the person, I don't trust you, but you need to have things set in place that you protecting your child. Do not let your daughter especially be alone with no man that is no kin to her. And you really shouldn't let her be alone with men who are kin to her. Do you hear me? Because that happened too. With cousins, with uncles, with granddaddies. Listen, y'all got to wake up. Y'all got to wake up. And listen, we call the women who overly protective over their sons and daughters, we call them crazy and, oh, you doing too much. Listen, it's better to be safe than sorry. You can't never be too safe. You can't never be too safe about your kids. Y'all got to do better. Y'all got to do better. And if y'all on them pages and y'all be in the comments and all of that, I don't be in the comments on stuff, but if y'all be in the comments, y'all say something. If you're going to be in the comments, if you don't mind commenting, it was TMZ posted that. Say something in the comments. Talk to that baby mama and say, listen, her mama done lost her mind letting her daughter sit on the lap of a stranger. I don't care if he been around for a year. He's still a stranger. You should never let no girl sit on the lap of a man. And in certain neighborhoods and cultures, we don't even let little girls sit on the lap of their own granddaddy, because people who understand the body and people who done been in promiscuous societies and promiscuous families know how that thing work. And when that thing stand up, it get ready to do something. And it ain't a lot that could stop it from making a move. And this the thing, what women don't understand about the mindset of men, and I try to bring this to y'all, and this ain't to scare you, this to prepare you. This ain't to scare you, this to prepare you. Because some of y'all, well, Tony, it just, you make it sound like ain't no hope. You need to believe and trust in God, and you know that the creator of man can consecrate and renew man so that man could be a new creature, so that man could be a man that you can trust, that you can confide in, that you can lean on. But see, if a man ain't got God, he ain't got nothing. And so that's what you got to understand, that this ain't your power. This ain't your influence. This ain't his power. It's the influence of God. And that's what you got to understand. You can't never let your daughter and even your son be around no man that you don't know inside and out, like your shoe size, like the back of your hand, alone, and especially sitting on his lap. And you know what that man could do? That man could just put his hand on her waist and that give him a high. That give him a high. You remember the movie American Pie, where the boy went to get in the bed with the girl, and he was about to do something, and before he even got to do something, he had a release. That's a condition that a lot of men got. A lot of men, with that young lady sitting on that man's lap, that man could right in his drawers. Yes, that's how that thing works. Have you ever heard of a wet dream? Nobody even touching us as men. And every man in the world done had a wet dream. I know in my lifetime, I done had me 2 of them, at least 2 of them. Ain't nobody even touching you. And people, now here go the people, oh, that's a demon. Oh, that's a spirit. And it may very well be visiting you in your sleep and doing that to you. Now, it typically happens to us when we teenagers, but I know grown men that's having wet dreams. You know why? Because men don't talk about it. Especially when men go on abstinence journeys, but they not a virgin. So this man with that young lady sitting in his lap can have a release. Because what if they hit a bump? If they hit a bump and she slide back, and then she got to get herself stationed, because she in this little thing, she get herself stationed and she move up. This little girl, she not even thinking. She not even thinking what she doing. She don't, this mean nothing to her. There's nothing sexual going through this little girl mind. But that's a grown man who done text that little girl, daddy, I'm in the bed with your wife. That's a nasty man. So if this little young lady hit a bump, she slide forward on that thing. Then she slide back on it to reposition herself. He got to riding over speed bumps on purpose. And we know, see, different cultures is different. Now that right there, with the grown men and the young, that happen in every culture now. But in certain cultures, you'll lose your life. I used to work with disabled individuals, and I remember some of the individuals, it was different races, but some of the individuals, they daddy was their uncle. They uncle was their daddy. Meaning, they mama slept with her brother. And that's how they come into the world. That's how these men was born. By their uncle being their daddy. And so in certain areas, that stuff right there happened. You don't know what that man come from. You don't know if it was okay, or if it was condoned, or if it was promoted in this man's family for him to sleep with his cousins, to sleep with his sister. You don't know somebody's history and their biography to have your daughter sitting in the lap of a man. And see, women be so, I don't know the word. I don't want to say foolish. But in the technical sense of the word, it could be foolish. Or it also in the dictionary sense of the word, it could be ignorant to the ways of men. And women be so ready for a man to come in and to be there for their daughter and to be there for their son, that they would just let this man come in, and because he putting that thing on them, that the woman just, I'm going to submit. This ain't your husband. That ain't that child daddy. And you submitting, and you don't know what this man doing to your son. That man could be bullying your son. That man could be punching your son in the chest. Your son wheezing. And you talking about, well, I'm going to let him spend some time with a man because his daddy ain't in his life. And that man punching your son in the chest. Your son wheezing. Your son having asphyxia. And you ain't in the room. And then he telling your son, if you tell your mama, I'm going to hurt your mama. And I'm going to hurt you. And that's what these men grow up and get a podcast and hate women because they mama turned them out to a boyfriend. I'm telling you, you got to protect your kids. That right there give me a righteous indignation. I don't even know that young lady. Don't know her mama, don't know her daddy. And if I was out there, I'm lying, I wouldn't have did nothing. But I sure would have felt like it. Just because of seeing the text message he sent that baby daddy would have made me want to get that girl out your lap. Grown, nasty, stinking, musky man. That ain't your daughter. Got that girl in your lap. Listen, man, we got to do better. Y'all got to forgive me. Y'all got to forgive me. That thing here angers me. That thing angers me. Y'all got to forgive me for not coming on here with my glasses and my suit and talking all slow and calm. That thing upset me. That thing bothers me because I understand the nature of men. Because I done grew up around men. And I understand the bestiality of men, the duality of men, the lion and the lamb. I understand the hunter and the scavenger. I understand. And it's dangerous. You can't play with no man. And that's why I tell people, let me tell you, and that's why I tell y'all all the time too. They say, oh, women cheat just as much as men, but women cheat better. It ain't that women cheat better. It's that when a woman cheats, the man don't go run his mouth. A man will sleep with your wife and never tell a soul because he know if he open his mouth, he could lose 9 out of 10 times he gonna lose his life. That woman might lose her life too, but he know that if that man know that he knew about him and he stepped on his property, meaning came into his house, stepped into his territory with his woman, that he violated, and that man know that his life on the line, and that he know it ain't no booty in the world worth losing his life. So a lot of men never talk. But what I found from the work that I do, a lot of women who cheat with a man, who got a woman, the woman go tell the other woman, I'm sleeping with your man. Men never do that. Men never do that because men know men. Men know your life on the line. And it's like, yeah, if a man, woman make that choice, that's her choice too. It's on her. Yeah, he could be mad at her, but also the man gonna look at, well, did you know about me too? Because yes, he could be loose. Yes, he could be out there, but you knew about me. And you chose to do that. So now you chose to put your life on the line. Because now you also disrespected me. She disrespected me, but I don't put hands on no woman. You disrespect me as a man too. See, men know that. Most women don't know that. Most women don't move like that. Now, it's some women now, you sleep with their man and you will get drugged. You will get tore out the frame. It is some women that will tear you out the frame. Now, take your life, it's nowhere near as many women as it is men that'll take your life. I just seen the post not too long ago. The man came home and his woman, he was in the military, in the Navy or something like that. He came home and his woman was sleeping with another man. And that man who came home, he killed that man. I can't remember if it said he killed his woman too, but I know it said he killed that man. And it wasn't even shocking to me. That wasn't shocking to me. And yeah, women do it too, and that's why they got a show snapped, but it's just not at the same rate. But it ain't national news. They're not gonna put it every time it happen on the news. It ain't national news. It don't sell enough. And the person producing the news might be cheating on their spouse, and they don't want to put that narrative out there because they don't want to lose their life. Listen to me. Y'all got to do better. Y'all got to do better. Y'all got to do better. You got to protect your kids. Even if you're a man, if you're a single man, and you got your child, you can't trust a woman neither. Because you don't know how that woman was raised. You don't know if that woman was raised like a savage. That woman could be cutting your daughter's hair and messing her hair up. That woman could plant lice in your daughter's head. That woman could mess around and be seducing your son. Be letting your son see a little bit of nipple. Be letting your son see inappropriate stuff and make like it's an accident, make like she don't know what's going on, but be using that Jezebel spirit to seduce your son. Do you know it's sons that sleep with their daddy girlfriend? Yeah, all the time. If you got kids, you need to protect your kids. I ain't finna have nobody around my son but they mama. I ain't finna have now another one around my sons but they mama. But they mama. You hear me? Now, of course, you know, my mama, her mama and all of that, but I ain't finna have no little teenage babysitter come over here with my son. No. I ain't got time. I'd rather be safe than sorry. Call me crazy, call me what you want to call me. But from the work that I do, I done seen and heard too much. Because I done been in the trenches. I done seen and heard too much. And I'm here to tell y'all, you better be careful. And stop worrying about yourself. Okay, your relationship ain't work out. Oh well. You got kids, take care of your kids. Stop worrying about another relationship so much that you putting your child in jeopardy. You putting your child in harm's way. This bigger than you because you got on your bike or you unzip your pants and you done brought a child in the world, so life got to change. No, life can't be the same. No, you can't date the same way. No, you can't move the same way. That come with the territory. We should have thought about that before we had kids. That's a part of being an adult, accepting the responsibility for what you got in the bed and did. People want to have their cake and eat it too. Want to bring kids into the world and still want to run the streets and date all willy-nilly and just do all kind of stuff. No, you can't do that when you have kids. Your life have got to change. Your life got to shift. It got to be different. You got to move different. You know, I want to get up and I want to go here and go there. I want to do what other men doing. I want to be all on the plane. I want to be all around the world. I want to be traveling. I could be doing meetings and seminars all around the world, selling out venues around the world. But I had kids. So I need to be present in my home. I need to be here with my home. I'm not finna do 20 shows a year. I'm not finna do 50 shows a year. I'm not finna do 80 shows a year like I see other men doing, and they got kids at home. I ain't knocking nobody to each their own. I know too much about what's going on. I got to be home. And I'm home and I still make 7 figures because God know my heart. So God showed me a way to still make money and to be here with my family. I'm about to hang up on this video right now. I'm in my gym, at my home gym working out. I'm about to hang up on this right now, get in my car and ride up the street to pick up my son. Because the other mom with her son dropping my son off, my 15-year-old, about to be 15, April 26th. I'm going to do a sale on Tony Gass's Academy with a coupon code, celebrate his birthday. And then after I do that, we coming home, he gonna do some homework, and then I got to drive him an hour to an hour and a half for a soccer tryout tonight. I'm in the home as much as possible. Sometimes I got to go, but I ain't finna make it no habit because I realize he need me here to be in his face, to be in his chest, checking him and holding him accountable. Listen, if you got kids, your kids got to be your first priority before everything else, because you brought another human into the world without their permission. So you are responsible for that human's well-being. You are responsible for their well-being. They mental, emotional, spiritual, they physical. You are responsible. And as parents, we have to accept the responsibility to sacrifice. We might have to go without, we might have to do without, but we could take care of our children. And we got to stop thinking so much about what we want and about all our needs, and we got to think about them kids, because you got 18 years. When them kids get out your house, you're going to have the rest of your life to just be selfish and focus on yourself. And even then, you still going to have to be for them, but they grown. So you ain't going to have to be there as much. But until they hit 18, and if they special needs, then it's going to be their whole life. But that come with being an adult. That come with your life, and you got to accept that. So listen, I am condemning, and if you know that young lady I'm talking about, Kim Kardashian, send this here video to her. Kim, you got to get yourself together, and you need to be a better representation for all the mamas that's looking at you, because now all these hot girl summers finna have their daughter sitting in the lap of a grown, musky, stinking man that done came into this here household and got this baby girl in this lap with a hard dang-a-lang right up under her behind, and the little girl don't even know it. She think that's the jeans. She think that's the zipper. No, that's that man down there standing up with your daughter in his lap. I be so ready to retire, but it be like, Lord, why women don't know nothing about men? Like, we in danger because the genders don't even know each other. Don't even understand each other. What you think this man is, Barney? What you think this a kid? That's a grown man with a thing up under your daughter booty. Come on now. Yeah, oh my goodness. I got to go. I'm just flabbergasted. Hey, God bless you. We'll talk soon. I'm too frustrated right now. Pray for me.